So today I just wanted to sit down and talk a little bit about healthy gaming habits. And to me, this is relatively an important topic. It's not as much as a thing as it was a few years ago, but I do think that it is a valid conversation to have, as we have recently in the last few years really talked about a media addiction and video game addiction. For me personally, I struggled a lot with video game addiction in 2020. Like most people, 2020 was in general a pretty bad point in my life. Now, yes, 2020 is the reason why this channel exists and why this series exists. But for me, I, at a time, was very addicted to video games. In particular, I was very addicted to a game known as Phantasy Star Online 2. Phantasy Star Online 2 is an MMO that was in Japan for like 10 years, and then they brought it over to the West, like in the middle of COVID, right? So when this game launched in the West, I pretty much did nothing but play this game. And when I say that, I genuinely mean that, because I didn't have responsibility. I didn't have to worry about school, because obviously it was canceled. And literally what I would do is that I would wake up and I would play Phantasy Star for like 10 hours a day. It was sad, right? That's not a good way to live your life. In any form of addiction is going to destroy your life socially, physically. It's going to destroy your mental, like, stability. It's going to destroy your life. And for me, it really was doing that. Like, genuinely, it was a problem. And throughout 2020 and 2021, I learned a lot about myself and healthy gaming habits and how to build those habits. One of the many things is setting a time limit for yourself. Part of this is down to time management. I'm not saying if you play a couple hours of video games a night, you're a bad person. Absolutely not. We all need time to unwind, right? But we can do it in healthy ways. And if you're sitting there playing a video game for like 8 hours a day, like I was at one point, you're not doing anything to move yourself forward. There's really no excuse there as why you should be doing that, unless you're a Twitch streamer that is making absurd amounts of money. But the thing is that that's typically not the reality, and that was not the reality for me. One of the many habits that I also learned was also surrounding yourself with people that weren't going to support that addiction. What I mean by that is that I was playing with people that were also playing for obscene amounts of time, because we had nothing going on in our lives. We felt isolated and we felt alone. Like a lot of people did during that year. It was tough. I couldn't go outside, I couldn't see my friends, and I went through the worst breakup of my life. These were all things that compounded to create the perfect form for me to get addicted to an MMO. And I took the drastic route. I cut that MMO out of my life. I say that half as a joke, because I didn't just cut the MMO out because I was addicted to it. I cut it out because the game turned into shit. But all jokes aside, yeah, if you need to, push what you're addicted to out of your life. And if you're saying to yourself, I couldn't live without it, and then you play it off like it's fine, it's not gambling, it's not alcohol, it's just as bad, if not worse, than those other addictions. The thing is about media addiction and video game addiction is that at first it's not harmful, right? At first it starts out where you play a lot of Call of Duty, you play a lot of Halo, whatever game you may be into. That's how it starts. Then before you know it, you're playing those same games, but you need to play it. It's not that you want to play it. It's the fact that you need to get on and you need to play. That's not a healthy habit. If you can't go without the dopamine hit, that's a pure sign that you're just getting addicted to this shit. And what I'm going to tell you is that I want you to take a long look at why you're playing these games for such a long period. What aspect of your life are you trying to fill with this game, right? Is it a lack of love? Do you not feel loved by the people around you? If that's the case, we need to find something that you can also love. Something that you're able to build a connection with that isn't going to be destructive to your life, right? If you're trying to recover from mental loss, this is just another example of being able to step outside of your comfort zone and experience things that you haven't been able to experience. I want you to be able to find what makes you happy, and I want you to be able to find it in a productive way. I don't want to see you struggle with having to be stuck playing this video game and to build an addiction to something that is hard to quit. Because unfortunately, society has decided that media addiction is okay. It's hard to get help in these avenues. When it comes to television, movies, or video games, a lot of people brush that off as not a real problem. But the thing is that it is. And if you're scared of sort of falling into this trap, what I'd really recommend doing is, number one, just like kind of writing down a little plan, right? Make sure that you sort of have your tasks done for the day, or that you have your tasks planned out for after you're done gaming, right? So for me personally, I am always slightly concerned that a video game is going to capture me in the same way that Phantasy Star did. And typically, if I'm going to get on a game, I typically beforehand kind of just look at my to-do list. I mentioned this a while back, but I make a to-do list every single day. If I haven't at least completed a few things on that list, I won't let myself get on a game. I won't let myself get on and play Halo. I won't let myself get on and play Skyrim. These are things that I love, but then I know that there's other important factors in my life that I have to consider. Now, there are some rules to this. There are some exceptions to this rule. For example, on days that I work, I don't always come home and do a bunch of chores or stuff like that. Some days I just come home and I want to unwind, right? And that's okay. I'm not saying that you can't play or that you can't have days where you unwind and where you do sort of take a long time. Just kind of relax, reflect, and just do what you want to do with your free time. I'm absolutely in support of that. 100%. But I still want you to make sure that tasks are getting done, right? And that you're still completing some sense of accomplishment. And some people I found, it's easier for them to game and then do those things. That's also fine. But the system is not working if routinely those things that you need to get done or that you wanted to get done aren't getting done. Right? Because it's just going to be damaging in the long run. You're not actually stopping and completing those tasks. You're saying you're going to, and then you're not. You're not following through. You're slipping back into this media cycle and this media addiction. And that's not a healthy habit. Another thing in general is just restricting how much time you play. I typically don't do this because of how sporadic my schedule is, and some days I just don't play. But some people just limit themselves to 2 or 3 hours a night. And I think that's perfectly fine if that works for you instead of the goal system. I think that's fine to be able to sort of have a foundation to be like, all right, I'm not allowed to play more than 4 hours a day. I think that's valid and I think that's fair. But once again, I want you to find that system that works for you, right? Because this isn't about what works for me. It's about what works for you to help you kick this addiction. This truly destructive addiction that I've seen destroy so many people's relationships. You know, like there's a lot of jokes online about the whole thing about my boyfriend plays video games all night. Guess what? That's not a joke. I've seen plenty of people talk to me about how their partners would rather play a video game than be intimate with their partner, right? That's a cause for concern. If you'd rather be always in the virtual world compared to having actual conversations and meaningful interactions with the people around you and the people that you love, I think that it's time that you need to sit down and have a conversation with yourself about why you're addicted, right? What is causing you to feel this way, that this virtual world that you have is more important to you than the people around you? Anyways, I just also really wanted to say thank you guys for the support on these videos. I've been making these videos for almost a year now, and it really means a lot to me that you guys have been supporting content lately. And I want to keep doing this because this series means a lot to me, and I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. Your comments mean the world to me, and I just want you to know that I'm always going to be here if you need support. And down in the description is our Twitter if you would like to follow us. We post updates, just little fun tweets too. You know, just follow us. We would love to have you join the family. Make sure that you like and subscribe, and also join the Point C Discord. We just hang out in there. We play games in there, stuff like that. It's just a chill environment to also meet fellow Point C members. It's just a good time to chat. Me and Noah are in there all the time chatting, so, you know, don't be afraid to stop by, say hi, and, you know, maybe even get a chance to play games with us. Anyways, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day.